Okay, perfect. That's where I want to start. Hi, everyone. I'm Kayla. I'm the Vice President of Undergraduate Affairs. So it's nice to see everyone. I'm also really excited like Liz is. Rachel is our Vice President of Graduate Affairs. She has a class, so she could be here tonight, but I just want to let you know who that is. So welcome. This is our first general body meeting. So we'll kind of just go over some intro stuff for those who are new to SWE. And then we have a lot. Honestly, it's kind of a packed schedule tonight, so bear with me. I apologize, but hang in there. We have a lot of important information and some cool updates, so stick with me. So for anyone who hasn't yet, please make sure you sign in. You can use the QR code or the tiny URL. However you sign in, it's cool with me. For new members especially, it's going to ask you some of the basic intro information, so we just want to get that in there. And yeah. All right, moving it on. So this is our agenda, just kind of a quick overview of what we're talking about. So kind of what I was talking about, we have some scholarship opportunities we're going to talk about, some updates from the Women's Coalition. We have a new outreach director. We're going to go over the new verbiage for the requirements for the resume bank. And the list goes on from there. Some director and election information. So stay tuned. I know it looks like a lot, but we can do this. So just every GBM, we start off with just some basic information on how to get connected. So this is especially important for those of you that are new to SWE. So you can find all of the executive council information. All of these slides will be published for you guys, so you can actually click on these links. But if you go to our website, you can find all this information. Our website is super helpful. It's like my favorite club website in the world. It is so well put together. Thank you to Claire, who is our secretary. So you can find all the council information, find out who's in charge of what, and then get in contact with all of us. And like Liz said, we're all on Slack, so please, please, please feel free to reach out to us anytime. There's no reason not to. We're there anyways. I'm happy to answer any questions. Yes. So then here, of course, is our website. If you're a new member, there's specific tab for you that says new member, start here. That's where you should start. That'll get you on our Slack, get you on our newsletter, show you all of our events. Definitely go check that out. That's extremely helpful. And again, these are all linked here. So our Slack, our newsletter, and then we also have an Instagram and we have a blog. So that's how you can also stay up to date on what's going on. And just some fun Slack channels that you can join as well, just to get us connected outside of SWE and outside of Slack. All right, and then our beautiful calendar. So our calendar can be found, of course, on our website, and it comes in all these different forms. You can get it in a spreadsheet form. You can get it as a Google Calendar and upload it to your calendar, which is what I have. This is a little, sorry, I kind of formatted a little weird, but this is our upcoming events for February. I didn't include January since it's almost over. So February is looking pretty darn good. All of the Zoom links, when you actually click on this, will be linked to the event names. Again, you can go on our website and also get all the Zoom links from there or through our Slack. Yep, and please, there's a lot of events that we try to plan. Please don't feel like you have to attend all of them. We just plan all these different events so that there's a variety for different people, for different majors, for different years, so that we can try to kind of cater to everybody. So please, by no means, don't feel like you have to attend all of these events. Just attend what sticks out to you, what you want to. All right, so then on to kind of our first order of business. There is a scholarship opportunity open through SWE. So it's for spring of 2021. So obviously you can see on the left side here, the eligibility requirements. You do have to be registered through SWE. This is through our SWE Phoenix section. But by being registered, you have to be paid your dues. Oops, sorry, I tried to click. And as you can see on the left-hand side, it goes over the application process. These scholarships are pretty easy to apply for. Really short essay. We have actually last year's, I think it was last year's, all of the winners were from ASU. Please reach out to any of them. I can list a few off the top of my head. I'm totally going to call them out. Liz has won them. Rachel, I know Casty has won them. Catherine Chamberlain has won them. There's someone else who I'm totally forgetting, but any of those people you can definitely reach out to, and they can give you maybe some advice. But yeah, it's really straightforward application, really easy. So definitely take advantage of it. Great way to get some money. Okay, and then some quick updates. So we are part of the Women's Coalition, which is an ASU campus-wide organization. It's really just made up of different organizations, us being one of them. You know, it's meant to advocate women in not only engineering, that's specifically what we focus on, but just women in the ASU campus, meant to advocate for them and represent them. So we are part of the Women's Coalition. There are meetings every month. The next one is actually going to be tomorrow at 5 p.m. So one representative from our org always goes. That happens to be me. Anyone is welcome to attend those. And you can join the GroupMe, which is just a GroupMe of all of the Women's Coalition member organizations. So there are words. Okay, so Herstory Committee is a committee that we would love to have more representatives on. Herstory Month is March. They are planning a month-long of events. We would like to contribute to that and join the committee and help plan some of those events. So if anyone from SWE is interested in doing that, please, 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 you can apply at that link. If you do apply, please just let me know. That way I know who from SWE is representing us. That's all I ask. And if you also have any event ideas for an event for Herstory Month, please just either Slack me, reach out, let us know. If obviously that doesn't mean you have to plan it, but someone can plan it, and we would love to know. So in terms of what's currently going on with Women's Coalition, they've been working really, really hard since November to institute Rape Crisis Center. I don't know if anyone heard about Elena's case that came up. So they've been working really hard and working with ASU administration to institute Rape Crisis Center. They held a meeting with the ASU administration on January 8th. They released their proposal and their statement following that meeting. If you would like to see any of that, it's actually all on their Instagram, or I actually have the documents, so I can send them over to you. But you can read that, see what their statement was, what their proposal was to begin with, and where they're at in continuing that work. And we're also supporting them in any way we can. If you want to get more involved, please, please, please reach out to me and I can send you resources and contacts of how to get more involved in this. All right, and then on to other news. So we do have a new outreach director. Our former outreach director did have to step down, unfortunately. So we reached out to the outreach committees, and the committee chair was Annika. Oh, I'm going to butcher her last name, so I'm not even going to try. She's not here to correct me, but she had a class. She's a lab, but I'm not even going to try. So she stepped up to the position. If you want to reach out to her, she's obviously on Slack. She has been working really hard in this position as a chair since the beginning. So we're really excited to have her on the team. So yeah, we just want to let you guys know that there is a change. It's not reflected on the website quite yet, but eventually it will be. All right, and I am going to pass it on over to Liz now.
Okay, hi everyone. So if you are unfamiliar, the Society of Women Engineers is actually an international organization. And so with that, that means that there are certain requirements that each collegiate section, which is what we qualify as, have to follow in order to stay in good standing. One of those things is that we have had to change the verbiage that we were previously using for active membership. So now this will be referred to as the requirements for the resume bank. The requirements are very similar to that of last semester. However, please do note that the outreach contribution has returned. So we have been able to find a way through the work of all of our outreach committee chairs and members to develop some virtual options for this. So there will be a lot of more new information coming, and we'll speak to that a little bit in just a second, but please do note that those are changing. So just to go over it in case anyone has any questions, the requirements to be a part of the resume bank are to attend 1 GBM and then any 2 additional events from the following categories: professional development, workshops, a graduate workshops, or an additional general body meeting. So in summary, that's the attendance of 3 meetings throughout any time in this semester. And so that's why it's really important that you sign in at the beginning of the meeting. Our logistics team takes all of that sign-in information and automatically tracks the active membership, or I'm sorry, the requirements for the resume bank for you. Sorry, that's going to be a habit that I'm going to need to break. But that means that you can check in with them at any time. And logistics is also working on rolling out a way that you can keep track of it by logging in and seeing where you are at. So stay tuned for that as well. And then you must also be a registered member through SWE headquarters and also on Sendable Sync. So on the new Welcome Here page on our website, it has instructions for how to register for both those things. But of course, if you have any questions, you can myself, Claire, anyone else on executive team. So that's kind of that. But you might be asking, okay, well, this is all great, Liz, but what is the resume bank? So the resume bank is actually what all of our industry partners and sponsors receive for in exchange for their sponsorship of our organization. So they'll give us some monetary donation and then they get benefits and then they get the benefit of actually networking with you and viewing your resume. The benefit to you is then those employers that include Honeywell, Northrop, Local Motors, just to name a few off the top of my head. We have a lot of sponsors this year, but they all are going to see a very small pool from Arizona State University, which is all of our wonderful members that have reached this status. So that's a really cool benefit for you. And there will be a few additional perks that come with this, including swag each semester. So we're going to start to give out swag. And then if you are if you've achieved the requirements for 2 semesters in a row, then you'll be able to receive something new than just the first semester. So you'll get new stuff throughout all of it. You're not just going to get the same thing each semester. So that's something to keep in mind. And then at the end of every year, we also host a banquet, which is a big way of us all coming together and celebrating our graduate seniors, celebrating all of leadership and passing the torch to our new leadership team, as well as celebrating all of the awesome accomplishments, scholarship awards, research awards, all of the great things that the members of our section are doing. So I know that's kind of a lot of information, but if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know in the chat and I'll be happy to answer them. So kind of circling back to the outreach contribution. So this is new from last semester. We found a way to make it virtual. So part of what we are doing as a collegiate section is a tutoring initiative contribution. So we have developed this fully online tutoring initiative that includes a full YouTube channel. And we send this out to schools all across the country, and we're partnered with a variety of both collegiate and professional sections, which means Phoenix and a couple of other major cities, and they are distributing it within their communities as well. So this is a really fastly growing commitment that we've taken on as a university. So in order to reach your outreach contribution, you can do this through the tutoring initiative program by either recording 1 video or editing 3 videos. And there will be a lot more instruction coming on what that will specifically look like, as well as a Google form, so we don't have people recording the same video multiple times, etc. So it'll be very organized. We're working out the kinks of the forms, and those will be sent out soon. So please keep an eye out for that in Slack and on the newsletter. So that's the first way that you can achieve this contribution. The other option is through Gear Day, which is an annual event that we host every single year where we reach out to the local kind of greater Phoenix area community. This year, we're doing it a little bit different than if you had participated in past years. And you can either reach this contribution through a kit assembly, kit delivery to one of the local schools, or you can be a town hall host via Zoom for the day of the event. I know that might not make a ton of sense right now, but we're going to be making a whole video about Gear Day and sending it out to y'all. It'll be about 5 minutes long just to explain all of this in more detail from Annika herself, our new director of outreach. But we wanted to give you a heads up for this because the slots will fill up pretty quickly for the Gear Day program. And we want to make sure that we have the tutoring videos recorded with enough time to edit later in the semester. But that's all from me. Again, if you have any questions, please, please, please link them in the chat below and I would be happy to help.
Does anyone have any questions that they want to verbally ask right now while we're kind of on the subject?
Yeah, I have a quick question about the tutoring initiative. What grade levels is that for? It's like what kind of classes, I guess, is the tutoring?
Yeah, we're doing a whole variety, and I believe, don't quote me on this, I'm sorry that I don't know for 100% sure. I think we're stopping at the high school level, so all the way up through middle school, I believe, is what we are currently doing. If anyone is on that committee and knows, please unmute yourself and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what it is for now.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm kind of new here. I was just wondering how the Slack workspace works.
Yeah, awesome. So the Slack workspace, it's basically a bunch of different like group chats, if you will, that are all called channels. And so you'll join the workspace and then you can either independently message people under the tab that says direct messages, or you can join a bunch of channels. And there are so many channels in our workspace, y'all. I can't even keep track of all of them. So in order to find all of them, you can click on the little plus once you download the desktop app or the mobile app that's next to the channels drop down and click browse channels. And there's literally so many different things, from like meet fellow Sweesters where you can drop your like social media handles so we can all follow each other, to memes, to there was one on like diversity book, like reading challenges, cute therapy if you want to go see like pictures of all of our members' animals. There's literally so many. So that's how you join it. There's more information available and a lot of tutorials online, but if you have more specific questions or are having trouble joining, let me know and I can be sure to stay after the meeting and help you get that set up if you want, because it kind of can be a pain to get set up at the very
Yeah, because there's like the link to the Slack workspace from like the SWE website. I don't know like what to like, there's like a thing where like search up stuff. So like, I don't know if you have to like download the app or.
It definitely helps if you have the app or like the desktop program. That helps to kind of keep all your notifications in order, and it runs a lot smoother than I feel the like web page version. So I would definitely recommend downloading the Slack, and then if you want, once you download that, you can message me and I can help you get it set up from there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. We had another question in the chat. Oh, Kylie answered it. Never mind. Kylie, do you want to unmute and introduce yourself since you handle all of that?
Yeah, so hi everyone, my name's Kylie. I'm the logistics committee chair. So we're in charge of like tracking everyone who meets the requirements for the resume bank. And Amanda asked a question in the chat about how you can send your resume over to us. So we'll be tracking your attendance throughout the semester. We'll send out emails to members who have met the requirements at the end of semester with a form that you can fill out just like about yourself, and you can submit your resume. So keep an eye out for that towards the end of the semester. Yeah.
Sweet, perfect. So we will hit the next topic now. So with elections, SWE election timeline starts very early. So there's going to be a little bit of that information in this very brief introduction of it. Don't want to overwhelm you guys, especially since it's the first general body meeting, but we do want to kind of get it on your minds and kind of familiarize everyone with it, just because it is coming up very soon. So with that, I am going to just kind of give a brief introduction on kind of how we are set up. So we are one ASU SWE section, but we're made up of two organizations. So we have our undergrad organization and our grad organization. In the eyes of ASU, we are two separate organizations, but in the eyes of SWE, we are one because we are one section. We recently added the grad SWE portion of it this year to specifically cater to graduate students, because obviously graduate students have different needs than undergraduate students, as one might imagine. So this is my favorite picture. I have it saved on my computer. This helps me really visualize how we all fit together. So as you can see, we have Liz up here, our president. So she oversees both of our organizations. I am the vice president of undergraduate affairs. I'm looking over all of the undergraduate officers. I was about to point at my screen, but you guys obviously can't see that. And then Rachel oversees all of the graduate affairs. And so you can see that the darker shaded director positions are directors that serve both the graduate and undergraduate communities. The lightly shaded ones serve specifically undergraduate or specifically graduate respectively. So our treasurer, secretary, internal relations, student engagement, and our international representative serve for both the undergraduate and graduate portions of SWE. The other ones, as you can see listed there, I won't read them all off, serve specifically that portion of SWE. We have a total of 18 directors. That is what we call ourselves, directors. And then we have from that, sorry, I wish I had the diagram up, but from directors, there's also officers, and then there's committee chairs, and then we have respective committee members. I know that's kind of a lot, and I should have brought in the diagram of committee chairs and members, but that is on our website if you want to take a look at it. and that kind of breaks up all of these different positions. But anyways, what we're getting into for the election is running for a director position, which is basically any of the positions that you see in this little tree diagram right now. And just to kind of give you an overview we will be sending out more information on each specific position, their responsibilities, what roles they play, and the weekly time commitment. So obviously for those that serve both the undergraduate and graduate portions of SWE, they are going to have a little bit of a higher time commitment. They're going to have more responsibilities. They attend more meetings because we have weekly meetings for both the undergraduate and graduate portions. So as you can imagine, they're going to have a little bit more of responsibilities and time commitment. Those that are in the light shaded color are going to have a little bit less. Please know that all directors do a lot of work though on SWE, so I don't want to discount what anyone does. We need all of these people, but there is a little bit of a difference. I saw Claire here. Claire, do you want to give just like a general idea of what the secretary does in your weekly time commitment, just to give like a little bit of a reference?
Yeah, so secretary historically for a chapter has been one of the more higher demanding positions, and I can definitely vouch for that. For those of you who have been here, you see my announcements all the time in the Slack general channel. I send those out weekly. Besides that, though, I am also responsible for the newsletters, our Instagram, and all of the calendars that you see, including our Google calendars, which are those little reminders that pop up in Slack, the slides calendar. And then I'm also responsible for the website. This quickly adds up to be a lot and is most hectic at the beginning of each semester. So as you can imagine right now, I am a little bit overloaded, but I promise it kind of calms down the more that you get used to it and get kind of in the groove of sending out newsletters every week and checking emails and Instagram and that jazz.
Sweet. Thank you, Claire. Do any other directors want to give a brief overview of kind of a little bit of the responsibilities quick, and then your weekly time commitment, maybe like another one or two, just to give an idea of time commitment and stuff for different positions?
I can give a quick overview.
Thank you.
Yeah. So hi, I'm Cassidy. If we haven't met yet, I'm the treasurer. And so overall, the treasurer role, it kind of varies for the time commitment, just based on what events we're having each week. But basically my main responsibilities are processing any sponsorships from companies and also submitting purchase requests for any food or supplies we need for a meeting. Overall, my even though the time commitment varies, I would say it averages out to maybe 5 hours a week. So it's not too bad. It's a little hectic sometimes at the beginning of semesters, but like Claire said, it evens out as you go along with it. So yeah, it's a fun position.
Awesome, thank you. And can I call on other Claire Sorelli? Do you mind giving just a brief overview for yours as well, since you specifically serve undergraduate, just give another perspective?
Sure. Yeah, so like you said, I do undergrad pro dev, and I work with Shreya, who is grad pro dev. And what we do is we contact different companies and we ask for sponsorships for the section, as well as their not attendance, but they can come in and host meetings that can help students. So I don't know, I've had a really fun time in the role, and I kind of got into it because I was like, oh, this is something I should do, because I don't know, I was like, it'll look good on a resume, but I feel like I've gotten a lot more out of it than what position you would think it would be. So I have been able to talk to a bunch of company representatives, been able to talk network more with the chapter, and talk to members from SWE Phoenix, and along the way, have learned more about professional development as well. So I definitely think running for any of these positions is worth your time. It can be a time commitment, like Cassidy and Claire Peterson mentioned, more at the beginning of the semester. But the hard part is planning everything out, and then keeping up with the inbox. So I'd probably say 5 to 10 hours a week.
Great, thank you. Thanks for all of you guys for sharing. Obviously, there was just 3 of our 18 directors that just gave you input. I just wanted to give you a little bit of an idea of how it can differ for each director, or how it doesn't differ for each director, kind of depends. Again, like I said, we will be sending out like concrete information on each of these positions, all of their information, all of the information for the position, and just kind of hone it out and get it down in writing so you can review it and kind of see what would fit for you if you do want to run for a position. Let me get here. So that kind of just, again, does the same thing. Please, please, please reach out to any of the directors. They're all open to it. You can reach out to them via Slack if you have any questions about their role, if that's something that you're interested in running for and you kind of want to learn more about and see what they think about it, what their weekly commitment was. Please reach out to any of them. Speaking on the behalf of us, we are more than happy to answer your questions. And then, as I said, please keep an eye out for the more in-depth, detailed information that will be released via Slack and newsletter. So that way you can go over this and have it all kind of right in front of you and written out. All right, so we're going to get into a little bit of election stuff. It's going to be a very, very broad overview. Again, we are going to be sending this out more detailed. So please bear with me. If you have any questions, please ask. It might be a little confusing at first. Again, this is very broad, so stick with me here. So for SWE, as part of our elections, we have a nominating committee. So as it says here, the nominating committee will work to develop the slate. So they will solicit those that they would think would be a good candidate, and then individuals can also submit a self-nominating interest form for any position that they want to run for. So the formation of the nominating committee, shortened there for NomCom, which is adorable, will be going out soon. You can apply to be on the nominating committee via an interest form. Again, none of these forms are out yet. This is just kind of giving you an introduction of what will be coming up. If you are on the nominating committee, you will not be able to run for a position, and there will be a nominating committee chair that will be selected as well. But so the nominating committee is really just there to help out with the election and help form the slate. So this is going a bit over the election logistics again here. So as we said, the nominating committee develops the slate. The slate will be released, and then there will be 15 days after the slate is released to submit any petitions to it. So if someone isn't included on the slate and they want to be, then they can petition it. After those 15 days and after all the petitions are received within those 15 days, the final ballot will be released, and then the ballot will be released to all of the members who have 21 days, which is stated in our bylaws, to vote, which is a really long time in my humble opinion, but you have 21 days. So you have 3 weeks to vote. So that is also part of why we are already talking about elections, is because we have to get all of this stuff done and make sure there's enough time for voting and releasing all this information. That's why I am throwing it on you now. So after all the members have voted in that 21-day period, or whoever wanted to vote voted, the votes will be tallied by a tellers committee, and then the acting president will share the election results via email. Again, this is a very broad overview. There'll be more detailed information. Liz, you had something?
Yeah, something else just to add on this is there from the headquarters level, so that is like the society at a whole, that's what we refer to as headquarters for anyone new. Headquarters has put up an amendment to change the number of executive council members that we are allotted as a section. So right now, as we mentioned, we just wanted to give you kind of an idea of where we are right now, but please do note that there is a possibility that we will need to decrease the number of members that go through this election process as members of our executive council. So our executive council are the one that go through this nominating process with the nominating committee, and all the election logistics that are laid out here is specifically for all of the directors, vice president, president, secretary, treasurer, all of the other leadership positions, including the chairs and officers, were elected in a different manner at the beginning of the semester. So this process will happen and conclude by the end of this semester for our executive council specifically, and there is a chance that we will need to shrink that. So headquarters is kind of in the works of figuring out if that will be implemented for this academic year or not. And so if it is, we'll be sure to include that information when we send out all of the election information as a whole. So just kind of keep that in mind so that you guys can get that, just keep that in the back of your head, basically. And then I also had a question about how the Tellers Committee is formed. So the Tellers Committee is formed. Last year we had it as, I think, our counselor as a few other members that were not a part of the nominating committee. So the guidelines for all of that are listed in the bylaws that are linked in a few slides. But the Tellers Committee is basically like a privately segregated portion, so as to remove all biases when the votes are tallied.
Awesome, thank you, Liz. And yeah, as she said, there may be changes to this. This PowerPoint is just operating on what we know as of right now, but we will of course let everyone know if there are changes. Kind of a note on this: to participate in the elections, you do have to be a paid member through SWE headquarters. Again, in order to do this, you can go to our website, welcome page, and it'll give you a slideshow on how, like a step-by-step on how to do this. It is very straightforward. And yeah, that is just part of the bylaws that you have to be a paid member. Well, that you have to be a member of SWE headquarters. All right. So some things to just keep your eye out for. So we will have, obviously, as I mentioned, more information on the election timelines and the director positions to come. And if there are any section changes in terms of how many director positions will be available going forward, like if we have to change our format, we will of course release those as well so everyone knows. Watch for it on Slack and in the newsletter. So make sure you're on those platforms. That way you'll stay up to date and get all that information. All right. And then here, this was talking about our bylaws. So all of this can be found in our bylaws, including the candidacy and the nominating committee, all of this jazz. If you would like to request a copy of the bylaws, please feel free to email or Slack us and we can send them over to you. That way you can read through them. But it is all listed specifically in there. We are just following them as we must. All right, and then side note on some more fun news. Our t-shirts are finally in. These adorable things are finally available. So leadership is currently working on a way of distributing them in a safe and COVID-friendly manner. So keep your eye out for how those are going to be distributed. But yeah, they're finally in, and that's really cool because we can have shirts. Full side note.
Can I make one other side note? I'm so sorry. I realized that we forgot to add something into the slides. So we were talking about all of these director positions and all of the formal election, but there are a variety of ways that we love to have our members involved that are not a part of the executive council or formal leadership. So we've been mentioning kind of committee chairs, committee officers, as well as committee members. So if you're looking to get involved this semester, you are more than welcome to. We're sending out a link next week. As you can tell, lots of things are happening next week, so be sure to keep your Slacks open. But we'll send a form out for if you want to join. So we have a variety of people that are on this call right now that are actually serving on committees. So you can ask them questions. If anyone wants to, like any of our chairs or officers wants to just say like hi in the chat and introduce your role just in case anyone has any questions, that'd be awesome. But that's another way that you can get involved this semester that I just wanted to mention. So if you are interested, you can DM me right now and I'll be sure that I personally message you that link as soon as the form is ready next week.
Thank you, Liz. Yeah, that's a really good note. We have so many running parts to this organization and every single person that contributes is really helpful. Or if you don't contribute and you just attend, that is also helpful because that is what we do this for. So yeah, thank you to everyone. We couldn't do it without everyone putting in their effort because we have a lot of things going on here. So yes, thank you. And another little note here, if you are graduating, we have senior gifts. So please, please, please fill out this form so you can get your senior gift. I did it and I'm excited for my senior gift. Alrighty. So thank you for sticking with me. I really appreciate it. We are going to do, this is just kind of our final slide here about our feedback form. Please give us feedback. We actually do read it. We used it this past winter break to plan events, to see what we could change, what we could improve upon, what we were doing well. So please fill out that feedback form. It's linked there. If you have any general feedback or event ideas that you want to share right now, please put them in the chat. And we're going to do a Zoom. I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
While she pulls up the feedback form, does anyone have any questions? I know we kind of threw a ton of information at you all at one time, so you can definitely unmute yourself if you have questions or bring them up in the chat.
So I downloaded the Slack app thing. Is there like a channel for SWE? Because I'm in the Women in Tech channel.
Yeah, definitely. So on your far left-hand side, you should see one that says add workspaces. A little plus that says add workspaces. And then our workspace name is SWE ASU.
Okay.
So for the director positions, currently right now, in order to be on executive council, you have to serve or have the intention of serving year long. So the director positions are not available for those graduating in December, but a really great alternative could be a chair position or an officer position. So you work hand in hand with one of the directors and take over a specific committee topic. So that could be a way of kind of getting involved actively in that same manner. So we also had a question about one of the favorite events that you've participated in while in SWE. Would someone else like to answer that instead of it just being Kayla and I talking? I see some people that have been here for a few semesters at least. Does anyone have their favorite SWE event or SWE memory?
Bye.
So it seems like some of our social events were some of the favorites: mug painting and pumpkin painting. Project Cure was a volunteering event that we used to do where we would go sort medical supplies at a facility nearby as part of our community outreach, which was really fun. Banquet, which we are going to be doing this semester, which I am so excited about. So we'll have a big virtual celebration. So we'll have some fun activities and some fun games to really celebrate the end of the semester and the end of this very different year. There was a gift on the a question on the senior gifts. Those were still to be determined for this year, but we tried to order them and ordering took longer than expected for last semester coming from the university. So if you did graduate last semester and you had filled out that senior form, please message me on Slack and we'll see what we can do about getting you guys one now for having graduated. So again, apologies on that. That was not on our control, but we would still love to get you the gifts. Is anyone here from the mentorship or social committee that can answer the question on what craft nights will look like this semester since we're virtual?
Yeah, okay. I can answer to the best of my ability and everything. So I'm Allison. I'm our social committee chair. I believe Christina, my bad. I'm sorry, is our mentorship committee chair. And then Sarah's our director and everything. But craft nights, we have a couple events planned and everything, but usually what we try to do is we either try to do crafts that people have the materials at home for, or what we usually do is we try to do some type of kits that people come and like pick up from campus, which is what we've done in the past for like our pumpkin painting night last semester, if you attended that. So that's kind of our goal for this semester, is to either pick up a kit from somewhere on campus, or I know Sarah, our director, lives a little bit away from campus. So if there are people who don't live super close to campus, but still in the Phoenix area, she also offers sometimes to run kits out and have them pick up a little bit farther away and stuff like that if you're not too close to campus. So yeah, mostly kits, or it's materials that people have at home, like paper and stuff like that. So.
All right, so we hopefully have our Zoom poll ready. It's just to get some immediate feedback. We did send out a poll about this information a little bit earlier as well through the Slack, but we want to just get some more input on this. It is regarding event times and your preference for event times. We know this changes a lot with different people's schedules, so we're trying to get we try to vary them in general so we can, I know like everyone can't meet Mondays at 6 to 7 p.m. So that's why we try to have events at different times and different days. But we just want to get some more feedback on it to see what everyone has to say, what they think, what we can try to do to help get everyone at the events that they want to be at. Sweet, and thank you for everyone filling it out. I see everyone filling it out.
I want to ask something. I don't want to turn on my video though. It's Francesca, by the way. So I got a job at a credit union, which is really awesome and cool, but I have to buy all business casual clothes and I have to get rid of my clothes. I've gained like at least 4 sizes. I used to model. I have so many dresses and outfits. I don't know what to do with them and I don't really want to sell them. Is there any way that like we could repurpose these? Because they're like sizes like 4 to 8 potentially. Dresses, business clothes. I mean, it's insane.
I feel like we can definitely start a Slack channel for that. We've had some girls that have posted, a lot of our like seniors that are moving have posted in like random, but we can start a channel specifically for like clothing swaps or something along those lines if you guys want to do that. Or I think there's a channel right now that's called Marketplace. Yeah, there's one right now that's called Marketplace, so we can drop it in there for now. And then if it seems like we have enough specifically for clothing, we can make a channel specifically for that, if that sounds good to you, Francesca.
No, that would be really awesome. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so again, for anyone that wants to join it for right now, it's #Marketplace.
Drop the link in the Zoom chat too. Okay, I believe that link goes to the Marketplace channel too, if you don't want to search for it in the chat.
Also, if you still end up with a lot of leftover clothes, there might be a women's shelter or something that you could always donate clothes to, especially if they're business clothes. That might be good for people and like families that are struggling. It might help somebody nail down a job. So that's always a suggestion as well.
Yeah, what's left will go to Sojourner Center. I just wanted to see if there was anyone that might like have interviews. I have like a business dress or skirt like thing. Like I just have a couple different things that might be helpful for students that don't have the ability to buy something like that, and they're hardly used. So
yeah, I totally understand that. I know that at my past university, although we were a lot smaller and everything, our career development center would actually accept, you know, like fairly new or lightly used business clothes, and then they would just give them to students. So I don't know if ASU does anything like that, but it might be looking into on that end as well to see if like career development or anything here has a program like that for students who can't afford things.
yeah, I'll check with Maureen Dwayne. She's helpful with stuff like that for like single parents and different stuff that might need help.
Perfect. So part of this GBM, we were also going to partner with our mentorship committee to also throw an Among Us game night. So if anyone wants to hang out and do some Among Us, hang out in here. If you have any questions, please either DM us or you can still ask us while we're here as well. You can put them in the chat. We'll try to monitor that. But yeah, if you're interested in that, keep your eye out in the chat too for the little Among Us link thing, whatever it's called. I don't know. I'm still a newbie at this. But yeah, so thank you everyone for coming. Please, if you have time and if you want to, stick around for some Among Us.
I've got to go to a CA group thing, but it was fun hearing from you all. So I'll see you guys later.
So we got a really good question about if we need to do a different sign-in for Among Us. Were we planning on switching the sign-in so that it could count for potentially a mentorship?
I can make it quick. I think that's a good idea.
Okay, cool. We will make a new sign-in then, and the link will be the same. So we can drop it in there again.
I gotta hop off and do some good old physics 3 homework. So
Good.
Sarah, Liz, if you're not staying on, make Sarah the host so she can do breakout rooms.
Okay.
And then yeah, if anybody else here has questions about the secretary position, I know I made it sound like a lot, but I promise you, if we get a committee going on secretary stuff, it's manageable. So if you have questions for me, let me know. All right. Peace out, y'all.
Okay, well, I can go ahead and get started as people are kind of leaving or staying or, you know, whatever. So again, I'm Allison. I'm our social committee chair. I'm actually the one running this tonight. Most of our events are partnered with the mentorship committee as well. So if you hear that name as like a lot, then it's kind of like we kind of collaborate basically. So how we're planning on doing things tonight. Basically, you'll be split up into a breakout room of about 10 people. And that's like kind of your party that we're going to organize you with. Hopefully, let's see, we have about 21 people, which is just the wrong amount of people.
I can stay back in the room.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Fine. It's really fine. I'm sure we can make it work.
Has to anyways, unfortunately, with Zoom, I think. You always leave one person behind if you do breakout rooms. The host has to stay back.
But yeah, so then we'll need one more person. I was hoping that if Sarah's willing to volunteer as our other host and everything to make our rooms, but if not, I'll take a volunteer, that's fine. But basically what my goal is that we can play 2 games in the lobby that we're split into, and then we'll all return back to the same Zoom lobby, and then we can try to mix ourselves up. That way people are mingling with different groups of people and you're not stuck with the same 10 people for every game. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm hoping things will go. Let's see. So if you've never played before, you're going to need to download the app. It's free on the App Store, Google Play Store, and stuff like that for mobile devices, or you could buy it off of Steam for like $5 on your PC. However, if we're doing a Zoom call and everything, it's much easier to mute and unmute yourself on the mobile app because you can have more free reign over muting yourself, whereas like the PC version and everything, it pulls up your whole screen unless you have like Discord, and we were doing this over Discord. It's kind of hard to mute yourself in between rounds. So I recommend downloading it from the mobile store on your cellular device if you don't already have it. Okay, so now I'm going to walk you through how to join a party, and I can go back over this if anybody gets confused, lost, or has never done this before. Basically, you can select online play from the first screen whenever you get your app all pulled up and set up. And then once we're split into breakout rooms, there'll be a code that your host will give you. And then you can just enter that code in the bottom here in the area that says private. And then for hosting, I don't know who's our second host is going to be, but basically it's kind of the same process. So you select host instead of private and you create a game, and then you can make up the different settings. So we'll do 10 people. Usually I do 2 imposters, but we can do just 1. I don't really, kind of up to you, I guess. And then there's different settings that you can change on the little laptop thing once you're in the lobby. And then the code's at the very bottom of the screen. That's the code that you need to copy and paste into your chat on Zoom here so that people can join your lobby. And then once you have a full lobby, the start button will show up on the screen if you are host. And then you can just go ahead and hit start and begin the round. Like I said, if you haven't played this before, here's a basic gameplay. Essentially, there are 1 or 2 imposters. Everybody else is just crewmates. The crewmates' goal is to complete all their tasks. So up in the top, what is that, right left corner, you'll have like little tasks that they'll tell you to do. And there's also a map, and you can basically go around whatever map you're on and complete the tasks. Imposters' goal is to essentially kill all the crewmates, but they don't want to get caught. So you have to like fake tasks and like sneak around. Imposters also have the ability to sabotage things, which you'll kind of figure it out as you go a little bit. And then on top of that, they can hide in vents, which allows them to travel between rooms a lot quicker and get away quickly after, you know, murdering somebody. Basically, during the gameplay, there's no talking. So you can only really talk when a meeting's been called, and a meeting gets called for like 2 reasons. Either somebody hits the button in the middle because they saw something, they want to report it, or because someone got murdered and somebody found the body. So those are really the 2 times you'll get called meetings, and then you can chat to your heart's content during the meetings, but you're supposed to mute otherwise, just to make sure that like people aren't talking and like, you know, trying to figure it out as you go and stuff like that. So before we start going into breakout rooms, are there any questions? I don't know if I have my chat window up, so let me make sure that I have that so I can see if anybody's asking in the chat. Okay, so Sarah can be our other host. That's perfect. It doesn't look like there's any questions. I think Sarah's played it before too, so she'll be able to answer questions once we're in gameplay. So I don't know if, Sarah, do you have the breakout rooms ready? Ready to split people?
No, I don't. Liz still has. Oh, I got it. 1 sec.
Yeah, sorry, I made you host. Oh, Tina made it a good point that if we only put 10 of us in a breakout room, then all of us can play.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Yeah, and then once we're done with like 2 rounds, yeah, we can come back together and then split up who, you know, shuffle it.
Okay, opening all the rooms.